Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's I'm going to be reviewing a Jeep Gladiator EcoDiesel. Now the reason I picked out this particular Gladiator is because it is way more affordable than the stereotypical Gladiator EcoDiesel, and I'm trying to review more affordable cars with everything that's been happening in the market. Before getting into this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Gladiator. They have this one and then several others that are literally identical in spec, just different colors. So if you're interested, reach out to them. If you have any questions whatsoever, just ask for Nick or Eric. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a 3-liter V6 turbo diesel that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 22 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 260 horsepower and then 442 pound-feet of torque. Now, I've already reviewed quite a few Gladiators, so I just want to touch on some key features on this particular Gladiator and explain why this is a great one to go for, because again, it's a more affordable Gladiator EcoDiesel. So first off, this one has the LED lights added to it, which I think is very important because first off, they look really cool, and secondly, they help out with visibility quite a bit, and I love the turn signal indicators. But yeah, if you can get LED lights on the Wrangler or Gladiator that you are thinking about purchasing, then I recommend doing it because they're so much better than the halogens that you can get. Now this one has the standard bumpers, so if you wanted to put an aftermarket bumper on this, great. You didn't pay any extra money for a steel bumper. And then popping over here to the side, as you guys can see, this doesn't have a fancy tire and wheel setup. It's, pretty much like the base setup. Now these tires, do have some decent tread on them, as in you could probably do a little bit of off-roading with this, and they've got quite a bit of sidewall, so I mean, no problem with that. Now, we still have a solid front axle just like other Gladiators, and then notice the badges are blacked out, so that also would go really well with like a sporty build on this. And then here's your full side view. Notice the fender flares are body painted, but then the hard top is not. And then popping to the rear, still has well, it's kind of hard to see from this angle, still has a solid rear axle. So tons of articulation, which means that this would be great off-road. Now something that's interesting is the taillights. They aren't upgraded at all, but notice we've got a little EcoDiesel badge here. Down below we've got a recovery hook as well, and then again, badge here on the back blacked out, so it has a cool sporty theme. And then we got a little cap here. That's where you fill in the diesel and then the DEF as well. And then popping inside, this is a Sport S, so we've got some padding here, and then cloth seats inside. So, if you wanted to do like cat skins or something to upgrade the seats, you could if you wanted a slightly nicer interior. And then popping over here to the front, so you guys can see again with the padding there and then the cloth seats. But these seats, by the way, are more than fine. Really durable too. All the seat adjustments are manual, and then you guys can see here with the light controls. But starting it up, look at this. We got a pretty simplistic gauge cluster here. So, I mean, you can see any bit of information you need to see, like fuel. I mean, the important stuff like fuel economy, for example. So that's great. Steering wheel is really nice, actually. You've got nice leather trim around, and you can see the darker stitching there. Radio controls in the back. You got cruise control, voice command controls. Again, everything that you need. And then, if we pop it into reverse, we've got a backup camera. We got a zoom function with that backup camera, right? And then this does come with some added features. So we got dual zone climate, which is great. We also have navigation as well. And you guys know I'm a big fan of the infotainment system. It responds really well. And then down below, you can see all of the analog controls here for like the climate setup, radio controls. Notice here for the auto stop start and the stability control. Still have the off-road cruise control. And also, you can see down here, a little charging port. I was going to point to the recirculate button, but I still think it's funny that it's a Wrangler instead of a Gladiator. Window controls here in the center, another 12 volt. And then you can see here with the driveline select, we have our 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, neutral, and then 4-wheel low, and then our shifter for that 8-speed automatic. Parking brake, pretty normal. And so, I mean, and look at this. It's nice and gray. This doesn't have all of the fancy features of something like a Rubicon, but you know what? It's got a lot. And then if we look over here at the window sticker, which there's a lot of glare, that's not, it's kind of fixing it, not really. I'm also getting attacked by bugs. Base MSRP on this, $37,170. Now this has a few packages added to it. Like I said, it's got the S package, so it's called the 26S package, $3,400. The LED light group is $1,200. Like I said, money well spent. And then popular equipment package, which includes the trailer tow package. And then you guys can see with the upgraded infotainment system. So if you don't care about that infotainment system, that saves you $2,000. And then 8-speed automatic, $2,000, and then the diesel, $4,000. Yeah, they nickel and dime you for everything. But anyways, total MSRP on this is $54,370. We have a 5-year, 100,000 mile on the powertrain, and then a 3-year, 36,000 mile on the basic. And I know that's a lot of money, because you know what, you used to be able to buy like a full-size diesel truck for this amount of money. But something to mention, if you had this in something like a loaded up Rubicon, you're gonna be like $70,000 in today's world. So, you know, it's expensive, but it's not as bad as it could be, right? Okay, so setting off here in this Gladiator EcoDiesel, and like I said, I think that this could be a really cool purchase because, again, being, you know, more, it's not fully base, but being more base means that, again, it's a lot less expensive than, you know, something like a Rubicon. And so if you wanted to do a build, right, it lowers the cost of entry to make that build happen. But let's talk about some benefits here of the EcoDiesel within the Gladiator and just kind of how this more baseline package drives. So first off, first benefit, torque. So the Pentastar V6, right, it's super reliable powertrain, only produces 260, what is it, 285 horsepower, 265 or 260 torque. And I'm getting all my numbers mixed up today. I've reviewed like a bajillion cars today. So 260 pound-feet of torque, right? This produces, again, 442 pound-feet of torque. That is a huge difference, and you really do feel it, especially here at elevation. I'm at about 40, I have to say 4,300 feet elevation now, because I pulled up the, let's see if this has the trail pages on it. Yeah, off-road pages. I pulled up the off-road pages on a Wrangler here the other week, and it said 43 like 75 instead of 4,500, because I always say 4,500 in the videos. But anyways, turbocharged engines at high elevation are king, especially diesels, because that torque is just so important. 4371, there you go, there's the elevation. But yeah, I mean, just barely getting the throttle, it just gets up and it moves. Now with this more baseline package, it's actually interesting how it drives. So because these tires still have like a decent amount of sidewall, but because they don't have like the aggressive knobs that you'll get with like a Rubicon, it actually makes it so that this tracks a lot straighter on road. And it also just kind of feels like it handles a little bit better. Now I will say it doesn't feel as squishy, but let's actually see what the tire pressure is set at. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. High 30s, that's where it should be. Yeah, it just doesn't feel quite as squishy as the Rubicon. But something else to mention is this doesn't have the shocks that you have with the Rubicon. The Rubicon has Fox shocks, which Fox is really good at making shocks that are very squishy so that you don't feel what's happening, which a lot of car enthusiasts seem to not like, because then they don't know what's happening. But then people like me that off-road all the time absolutely love that, because it's comfortable, and it's the best way to convince your significant other to go off-roading with you, because you're like, hey, it feels like we're on road. It's like this magic carpet ride. Steering is pretty direct for a Gladiator. Again, not direct for like a lot of modern cars, but for a Gladiator, it's pretty direct. Seat comfort's decent. Now I will say, like, the, you know, leather seats you can get like in the Rubicon, for example, those are a little bit more comfortable, but you could always just, like I said, do cat skins. And again, putting cat skins in this is a lot less expensive than jumping up to another package. Just look at that, just torque. Like, it's so torquey. It is absolutely amazing. I love it. So here's the deal. We are living in a crazy world where I am reviewing a diesel Gladiator that is as expensive as what I remember selling people, you know, base model Cummins for back in the day. It's crazy. Like, I remember after discounts and everything, you could walk out of a Ram dealership with a 2500 Cummins, just the standard output, obviously, because it's 2500, but 2500 Cummins, and you would be, you know, what, like less than $50,000 if it was like a base truck. Whereas now, this, you know, has some nice features, again, dual zone climate, all that, but it's a, you know, mid-sized truck, and it's over $50,000. But like I said, better than $70,000. Let me know what you guys think about this. I think this is great because, again, like I said, if you do plan on like off-roading with this, then you still have solid axles, you still have four-wheel drive, so it can do a lot of stuff. Like, yes, lockers and sway bar disconnect, all that's cool, but with all the off-roading I've done, I found that you can conquer like 99% of the terrain with a solid axle vehicle without using anything other than four-wheel drive, because the articulation and grip you get the axles is more than enough. So yeah, I think, and also you don't have the annoying red that you get in the Rubicon, so that's another big benefit. Let me know what you guys think about this. That's gonna sum things up. I'll see you. Now that's gonna sum things up with our video on this Gladiator Sport S with the EcoD. So let me know what you guys think about this particular packaging. And with that being said, again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Gladiator. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Ask for Nick or Eric if you have any questions. I'll see ya.